Hey guys, Andy, spoken label. My friend here, amazing Julia Webb. Now, Julia's going to do three poems, obviously, from Grey Time. But before we do that, Julia, you are going to tell us, obviously, some extra information about cafe writers, which you didn't have to hand a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I am. So our next event is on the 13th of October, and that's a live event in Norwich at the Madder Market, and it's completely an open mic. So
Oh,
just come
I
along
wish
and
I lived near her.
just come along and bring some poems. And our next online event is Monday, November the 10th, and that is Ashley Hickson Lovance, who is a novelist and a poet, and apparently is has been named as one of the writers to watch, and
Ooh,
also Dylan Jacks, who's a really brilliant poet
I've
who's
seen Dylan Jack's ring before. I've not heard of the other writer.
that will be a super event.
Noted,
And also
noted.
just to plug again our open poetry competition that funds us paying writers, which is open until the middle of November, I believe. And
Brilliant,
yeah, you can
brilliant.
find all the details on the Cafe Writers website.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll make sure we put this link on and the right up the podcast comes out for you as well. Because certainly like it's a big help straight away. Excellent stuff. Okay, let's move on then. Over to you now. Who first of your three poems, please?
So I'm going to start with a poem that's at the beginning of one of the sections of the book, and it's the section that's about my partner who was killed, and we lived in a commune, and this poem is called Commune. Commune. The house contained a hurricane and a fire that burned the roof off. It had a temper that came barreling out at unexpected moments, and once threw a chair through a window. Its rooms were always dark, needing to be lit even on the brightest days. Every corner of every room housed a spider as big as your fist. It was a house that welcomed bad news and the grief that came with it.
Brilliant stuff indeed. Now, I think it's always good, Julia, when you're actually doing stuff like this. You can hear the reading element of it sometimes gives it a bit more depth than that. That was really, really good stuff. So, you know, my pet saying, less of me, more of you.
So this next poem is about parenthood. It's really about what you give as a parent. To him who came from my body, I gave the otter of me. I gave myself over to the tending and the feeding. I was a soft spring lawn for him, and in summer, when the hot sun parched it, I conjured a sprinkler from the depths of myself and brought it back to life. I cut out the everyday from the dreams and magic of the universe. I offered him the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, all the animals of land and sea. He took what he wanted, the others he discarded. I fed him on the meat of me, bite-sized morsels. Choir I was, and storyteller. I was the strainer through which he poured the tea of himself. I caught those leaves and saved them. Now, of course, he craves his own world, and I must lay down my sword and shield.
No, I did pick this up to actually just read this a minute ago, then Julia, was I felt, is there a bit of anger in this piece? 'Cause I know you said before, obviously, about your son obviously had some anger when he got, I've read through his obviously various diagnosements. I'm not
I
sure.
don't
I
know.
don't know.
Hadn't really thought about
I
that, but I
felt it.
am
I
going to
wasn't sure
think
if that
about
was,
that.
I wasn't sure if it was from you as well then. Because that bit about the end of it, I took it as self-sacrifice. Then it dawned on me and I thought, I'm not sure if it is actually. But the sword
Yeah.
and shield.
You've given me something to think about. I will go away and think about that. That's quite
Yeah.
interesting.
Anyway, on to the last piece anyway for this part of the podcast. Over to you again.
So I'm gonna for my next poem. This is the last poem in the book, and it's kind of a resurrection poem in a way, I suppose. And it's got a little epigraph at the beginning, a little quote from an American poet called Rachel Eliza Griffiths. How would my mother find us again with so much starlight? Without. I am building you an owl, claw to wingtip, hoot to wing swish. This variance, this everything. Everything I can't keep right. Everything I can't keep fixed. Nonsensical poem, this, built from words, waiting for your breath to knock it down. Owl blink, owl hush. Under the trees I wait for the suddenness of owls. And I wish you here for real, wish you back from the dead. Wish you acres of owl flight on soft summer evenings. All the smells of the woods, all the reds and golds of autumn to dark your way back home.
Excellent. I think that's a really good way of finishing the book off, as I said before. Just following us along with it, I quite like the idea where you did some little bits of repetition in some of the pieces, where we've got everything I can't keep right, everything I can't keep fixed. Yeah, this variance, this everything. And owl, my favourite bit is owl blink, owl hush. Now, is like, what made you actually want to put the pieces, these little bits of repetition throughout the piece, the poem?
I think I've been maybe a bit braver with repetition in this collection than, I mean, I have used it a bit in previous collections, actually. I use it a lot in threat, maybe not quite so much in the telling. I mean, you have to be kind of brave with it, I think. And I mean, the owl poems came, I was, went to stay with a friend of mine, and she's got a little sort of studio outside her house that she let me stay in and do a mini writing retreat. And I could hear these owls, and I wrote the owl poems when
Ah,
I was
right.
staying with her. And and somehow it was this, I think it was the same trip where I'd gone to my mum's grave as well. So like all of that was in my head. So yeah.
Does it's definitely got that outer wilderness section in this last piece of the book it has, and I think it really gives something about doing that little bit of repetition because it reinforces, I think, the points in the poems. Yeah, yeah, excellent. Can't complain
Thank
at
you.
all with that. Right, folks. Yeah, well, now normally I'll say that's the end of the podcast, but me and Julia are going to hang out with the kids now, aren't we, Julia? And go and head over to the TikTok element of this. But it's been a pleasure today, Julia. I want to say that before we move on.
Thank you
Absolute
for having
pleasure
me.
today. And hopefully when the next book's out, whenever you're ready, we'll still be here. And hopefully you'll come and see us again. Always have you
I'd
on.
love
Okay.
to. That would be brilliant. I always enjoy talking to you, Andy.
It's been a pleasure today. So, okay, folks. As Don Callis over at AEWS says, stay safe. Stay over. We will see you all next time on this case TikTok. See you later.